Welcome back to the Wheel Scene YouTube channel. It is a bit of a dull, gloomy day in Glasgow, and that is rather fitting because today I want to visit some of the most depressing skate parks the city has to offer. In Glasgow we've got some fabulous skate parks. We've got Kelvingrove Park in the West End. We've also got the Transport Museum, which is a plaza that sits on the River Clyde. But we've also got some absolutely howfin skate parks, and the one behind me is the first example of it, and that is Blackhill Skatepark in the northeast of the city. Blackhill Skatepark is located next to the M74 motorway in a bit of a no man's land, and it's less of a skate park and more of a venue for teenagers to underage drink, write graffiti and set fire to stuff. As you can see, someone's had a nice little bonfire here. Some charming individuals have set fire to an aerosol can here. I'm sure that made a delightful pop. We've got a third fire site on the edge of the skate park. They really like to keep warm in this part of Glasgow. The fourth fire site of the skate park is in the bowl section, and it looks like quite a considerable one because this entire thing is black. One of the last times I was here, there was a giant discarded wrecked tree in here, so it looks like whoever has been setting the fires here, that's what they used, and the local teenagers or whoever it is that are doing it seems to be trying their best to completely destroy this place, and they're doing a pretty good job. According to this tag, Leo's a gimp. Leo, if you're watching this, sorry you had to find out this way. And it would appear that Blackhill is a predominantly Celtic-based fan base. If you're a Rangers fan and you're looking at this, I can only apologise, I didn't write it. The goal for this video was going to be to try and get a few tricks at each skate park, but this one is looking like a little bit of a write-off. There's definitely no grinds happening because this is rough as hell. It doesn't look like it's ever been waxed, and that's just entire chunks missing, so I don't really see that as being an option. I'm going to have a quick roll around and see if I can come up with anything, but I'm not looking optimistic. It's not looking optimistic. I'm not being optimistic. Yeah, there's a distinct lack of optimism.
Have a nice day, mate.
Well, all the transitions are grim. There's broken glass everywhere, and I'm pretty sure if I get cut open, I'm going to need a tetanus jag. But all the ramps are painted, which makes them incredibly slippy and terrible for rolling up and carving and doing anything on. But I might be able to get a cess slide on them, so I'm going to give that a try. Well, that's Blackhill Skatepark done. Got a couple of cess slides. My sole plates are probably hating me right now. Yeah, as far as worst skate parks go, or bad skate parks, this is about as bad as it gets. There's nothing to grind. The ramps are all terrible at the bottom. There's just disease and filth everywhere. This is basically the kind of place you come if you want to fight in a gang or set a giant bonfire, or just generally be a delinquent. But if you're coming here to skate, BMX, scooter, whatever, I wouldn't waste your time. Right, let's go on to the next disaster. The next stop in the Magical Mystery Tour is the mini ramp in Cranhill. Cranhill is located in the east end of Glasgow, between Denniston and on the way out to Easterhouse. The area is a little bit run down and in need of some TLC, and this mini ramp is a shining example of that. It looks like it was built in the 70s or 80s, at least from the disintegration of the materials, that's what it would suggest. As you can probably tell, it is in a bit of disarray. There are loads of joins missing and weed growing between the concrete. There's also no coping, but if you were a skateboarder or a BMXer or a scooter rider, you could just go up and do like flips and tail whips and all those other kind of flippy, spinny things, which would be good if the surface was actually all right. Although the skate park does have some nice additional features like broken beer bottles if you fancy cutting yourself open and taking a trip to the local hospital. Based on these charred remains, I'm going to guess that this is another unofficial bonfire site. People in Glasgow seem to love setting fire to stuff. That's the theme that I've discovered so far with this little skate park adventure. I think it's pretty safe to say that there's no tricks going down here, at least not on my part. I'm not really a backflippy, airy kind of guy, and if I was, I definitely wouldn't want to do them here. But wait, there's more. In addition to that exceptional mini ramp I just showed you, it's also got a skate park section, which is slightly better than the last skate park I visited, but only slightly, in that it's got more options and there's things you can grind, but the same problems of the last skate park still persist. First of all, you've got this jump box if you want to get your flips and spins on. You just need to watch out for twigs, all the foliage going around the outside, or the pile of glass waiting for you when you land. The ground's also quite rough. Yeah, I'd maybe avoid this jump box. If jump boxes aren't your thing, maybe you like this spine ramp. It's a little bit narrow. It's about my shoulder width narrow, maybe slightly bigger. Again, we've got a nice hedge slash weed selection round the outside. There is a little bit of run up to it, but it also goes into, again, a steep, rough hill with loads of glass and moss. Glass, broken glass, seems to be the running theme of this skate park. One of my favourite features of the skate park is this delightful shotgun P-rail, which goes straight into a bunch of bushes. So if you fancy living life on the edge and taking your chance with whatever the hell people have discarded in there, be my guest. Or if you want to bring some hedge trimmers and trim away, although even if you get rid of the bush, it still goes straight into nothing. And there's also no run up. The bowl section of the skate park is actually all right. It looks relatively well built. It is perfectly round, which is quite unique. You don't tend to see that many perfectly round bowls. And the coping is a little bit sunken in, which is an issue, but the biggest problem is it's not the best material. It's really rough, and the middle of the bowl has just been used as a dumping ground. You've got all sorts of crap in there, leaves, sticks, weeds, hundreds of bits of glass. And even if you cleaned it up, because the coping is so sunken in, I'm not entirely sure it would be worth the effort. Although it would be quite fun to zoom around and just kind of cruise the walls of it, or the one circular wall. But considering this is the best feature of the skate park, it's not really that skateable. And we come to the final feature of the skate park. We've got a little sub box kind of thing with a shotgun rail on it, which would be quite good, but again, surrounded by shrubbery, weeds, and there's a pile of glass at the bottom. I'm hoping to get a couple of tricks on this, but the young team have just showed up because they're dog in school and they're being their usual loud, delightful selves. And I'm not entirely convinced this is going to slide, but I'll give it a couple of tries.
Oh my god.
Yep, even with wax, that thing is horrible. I don't know if you can see, but it's basically got the smallest 8 roll in the world, which is really tight, and then leads up to the shotgun rail, which, even though I've waxed the absolute hell out of it, is still sticky. And I managed to front foot slip off and eat crap on the nice glassy floor. So I think that's the end of Cranhill for me. Moving onwards. For the third stop of the day, we're at Easthall Skatepark, which is on the very edge of Easterhouse in the east end of Glasgow. If you're not familiar with your Glasgow history, Glasgow in the 90s was nicknamed the stab capital of Europe, and it was largely because of Easterhouse and rival gangs attacking each other. There was a lot of incidents of that here, and it's been redeveloped a lot and it's got a lot better over the years, but it's still not entirely great. Just across the street there was a teenager stabbed last summer, and this year there was a 15-year-old stabbed to death just along the road in Shettleston. So there's still a long way to go, and it's not just adults you have to worry about, it's teenagers walking around with blades. This skate park, I have never even attempted it. I've drove past it before and it just looked like a really grim mini ramp setup. It's not even a mini ramp, it's just 2 individual quarter pipes. And I've just noticed where I've got here that there's quite an intense concrete lip at the bottom of the ramp, and on top of that there is quite a lip between the ramp, between the ground and the ramp. So I'm not even entirely sure this is going to be possible to skate on rollerblades, but I'm going to try and roll up and down it a few times and see what happens. But I feel like this is the kind of place that if you're a BMXer you'd be alright, but if you're on a skateboard or skates or a scooter, you've not really got any chance, because that is quite a significant lip between the concrete and the metal. Although the ramp itself seems to be in quite good condition, or as good condition as possible. So I'll put the skates on and give it a try, but I'm not optimistic. So, I've discovered 3 things about Easthall Skatepark. First off, the lip isn't as bad as you think it is, but I don't trust it. I can definitely feel it when I'm going up and down the ramp. And there's a big worry that if you're going down in an awkward stance, you're just going to catch a wheel and absolutely eat it. On top of that, the ground is really unforgiving, because I slipped out on one of the attempts that I did. I think if you actually slid along that ground, it's definitely taken skin off. Number 2, the ramps aren't wooden, they're PVC. As soon as I started rolling up and down it, I could feel it was all plasticky. And number 3, it's not actually a mini ramp at all, it is a vert ramp. As soon as you get up, there's like maybe a foot and a half of vert, which makes it really awkward because you can't actually carve at it, because there are grass lined kind of verges on each side of the quarter pipe, so you can't carve round and do any tricks on it. You basically just have to skate straight up. Tried a couple of stalls, tried a couple of grinds. It slid a little bit, but everything you do is really unsatisfying because you can't actually carve at it. And I would say it's maybe only, I'm 5'11", and it can't be much wider than me. So if I'm lying down, that was completely unscientific. So if I'm 5'11", nearly 6 foot, it's maybe only 9 foot wide, 10 foot wide. So not really ideal for anything, definitely not good for practicing on. If you're a BMXer, maybe. If you like doing airs. For everyone else, Easthall Skatepark, giant thumbs down. I will never be back. For the fourth stop of the day, we are in Barachnie Park, Skatepark, I think this is called. It is in Baillieston, so we're getting further and further out into the East End. You can probably tell by the Celtic graffiti on the ramps. This skate park is one of those weird ones that would actually be okay, or it would have been okay if they just hadn't got certain elements wrong. So to my left, you can see a giant jump box, which is basically 6 foot, almost 6 foot. I'm 5'11", it's just under 6 foot. The problem is there's absolutely nothing to get speed for it. So there's no quarter pipe on that side, no quarter pipe on that side. So there's nowhere to get any run up. You're basically gonna have to run across the grass as fast as you can, never get enough speed to clear it, and then roll away into nothing. You've also got the spine ramp there, which again, if you had a quarter pipe on either side, would be all right. It's relatively wide, but all the ramps here are kind of in disrepair. As you can see, there's quite a bunch of metal plates being like slapped on them like plasters. And there's a couple of other decent features. There's a shotgun P-rail, and there's also a shotgun box behind me, but everything's just kind of falling apart. There's no way to do lines because there's no like speed ramps at either end of the park. The ground is absolutely horrendous, but it feels like a shame because once upon a time, if the developers had just put a quarter pipe at either side of this skate park, it would have been really good. As you can see, you've got various metal plasters surrounding, covering the ramps to make them somewhat usable, although I don't know why they even bothered putting those on because you still can't skate it. And there's various holes here where the rust has got it, and that's pretty much every ramp here. So yeah, less than ideal. It does have this relatively decent shotgun rail though, which is about 6 foot long, just over 6 foot long. Why do I keep saying everything is around 6 foot? Which, if I lived across the street, I would skate it. Maybe, probably not. I'd probably go somewhere else. But it's one of the few all right features. Another feature is also a lot of broken glass. Although this feature here, the shotgun up along and down grind box, is really good. And if you just had a quarter there, or the ground was smooth, or you transported this to a completely different place with different ground, it would be really good. I would easily, I know for a fact, me and my friends would skate this for hours if the conditions were just a little better. Unfortunately, in order to skate this, I'm gonna have to run along the grass and the really rough ground that's gonna chew up my wheels just to try and get a slide on it. But we're here and I'm being optimistic. So I'm gonna wax it up and try and get a few grinds on it. Rolled the crap out of that, let's do better. Fuck. So just had a fun little session on the shotgun box. Well, it was fun until I absolutely ate crap on a front salve or an Alec Beauty, whatever you want to call it. Fuck. And then the ground very much decided to show me who was boss. This would be fun to skate if it wasn't every other element fighting against it. In order to get enough speed for the box, I need to start off in the grass, run along the grass, and then scramble my way along this gritty, gravelly, bumpy ground with holes in it and bits of metal sticking up, and then get up onto this rickety ass ramp, then grind it, and then when you roll away, you're always kind of worried you're going to hit a stone and catch it or just absolutely eat crap. Again, this is one of these things where if it was across the street, I probably would skate it, but it's absolutely tearing my wheels apart. I can feel that. And I know that if I got even remotely adventurous on this and started taking falls, I would get opened up really easily and end up going home with just hundreds of cuts and be really, really annoying. Barachnie Skatepark, it feels like wasted potential. It feels like if they just put a quarter at either side, it would be a really good park, but unfortunately they didn't do that, and that's the one missing element. And then over the years, the ground has obviously got horrible and pretty much unskateable, and the ramps have fallen into disrepair. I don't really know why they haven't just torn it down, but it's in the East End. There's not a lot of funding in this part of Glasgow, so there's probably not that much appetite for putting something in its place. But to be honest, I'm kind of surprised they haven't levelled it and just put in a football pitch or a basketball court or a play park or something. But maybe council just don't care enough. But yes, Barachnie Skatepark, unless you live within 2 or 3 streets of this skate park, I would avoid it like the plague. A new day, the same mission, to find the most howfin', grimiest, ugliest skate parks in Glasgow and skate them. Today I'm in Beardmore Skatepark, which is in Beardmore Park in the east end of the city. It is just outside the Parkhead area, so the Forge shopping centre is relatively close to here. So is Celtic Football Club's ground, Parkhead. This park is called Beardmore, but me and my friends have nicknamed it the P-Rail Graveyard because I think there's like 6 or 7 P-Rails in this one park. There's one that goes all around the outside of the park, and then there's just a bunch littered all around it. Then, inexplicably, there's just 2 ramps with no way to get speed for either of them. This park boasts a generous number of P-Rails, 7 in fact, but then completely randomly it's got this spine ramp in the middle of the park, but no way to get speed for it. There's no quarter pipes, no banks, nothing. And it runs straight into a rail on one side and a bench on the other. I have got no idea why terrible skate park developers keep just putting spine ramps in the middle of parks with no means to actually get over them, but it seems to be an epidemic and it's sweeping across Glasgow. So this is the first park of the day. A few P-Rails to play around on, little kicker, might even try a 5 if I'm feeling adventurous. I'm not touching the spine because it's utterly pointless. Try and get a few clips, a few tricks, hopefully not take any slams, although the ground is actually fine. There's no glass, it's perfectly smooth from the looks of things. I haven't skated here in years, so I can't be certain, but it seems, from first impressions, all right. And it's in a relatively all right area. It's in a working class area, but it doesn't seem particularly rough. There's a play park next to it that's in pretty good condition. So yeah, see what I can do. Got a sweat on, sweats in my eyeballs, suffering. Okay, I was a little bit harsh. Beardmore Skatepark is not that bad. The ground's all right. It's a good laugh. If you're into P-rails, this is the part for you. The problem is, all the rails are under a foot high, so it's quite limiting. And I find P-rails a bit scary when they're that low, because you've just got a lot further to fall. Plus all the P-rails go into each other, so you can't really do a line. There's one in the corner that goes straight into bushes. There's another one that goes straight into bushes. There's quite a few that go straight into bushes, and the ones at the back go into rough ground. Also, there's absolutely no need for this spine ramp to be here. It serves zero purpose. The kicker ramp's all right. I did incredibly awful fakie 360s and really even sketchier 540s, and took a bunch of falls doing it because it was like the first thing I tried today. On reflection, Beardmore it's definitely not that bad. It's not as bad as some of the parks on the list, but unless you're into skating P-rails or you're practicing or learning how to skate them, there's not really much here on offer. And if you can already do grinds and skate rails, I wouldn't say this is like the best test of your ability, but definitely not the worst on the list, not even close to worst on the list. So if you're passing by, it's worth checking out, even if it's only for a quick 15-20 minute session. So I did just attempt to skate one other park, Corkerhill Skatepark, which is in Cardonald in the south side of the city, but apparently it's in such bad state of disrepair that they've already torn it down and turned it into football pitches. So the next stop is Scotland's longest standing vert ramp. No tour of Glasgow skateparks would be complete without a visit to the Queen's Park Vert ramp, which is in the south side. It has been here since, I think, the early 90s, maybe even the late 80s. It is one of the longest standing outdoor vert ramps of its kind in Scotland. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's one of the longest standing outdoor vert ramps in the whole of the UK, although standing might be a slightly generous term for it because it's not been well maintained over the years, and its ability to be used, its functionality is debatable at best. The ramp is around about 9 feet high, maybe even 10 feet high, and it's got a fair amount of vert, but I can't remember the last time the wood surface was replaced on this, and the coping is incredibly shaky from what I remember, although I haven't skated here in absolute donkeys. In fact, this vert ramp has got more use as a venue for rap videos in recent years than it has for any form of extreme sports activity. I've lost count of the amount of music videos I've seen filmed here, either in person or on YouTube. I'll try and find a couple for reference.
Still Matic, still the addict and the addict banging big old beats. Rest in peace, visualizing man ain't on the streets where I see no peace, just a bunch of debt with no receipt.
The state of this ramp is probably a testament to how popular or unpopular vert skating's become in recent years. It wouldn't actually take that much to resurface this. The skeleton of the ramp is all right. If you got new plywood on it, fix the coping or replace the coping, you could easily do that for a few £1000s, and a small crowdfunding campaign would sort that right out. But it just doesn't really seem like there's that much will to resurrect this or reinstate it to its former glory. You could also link it up to the other parts of the park, but yeah, it is kind of a shame that it's just been left to kind of rot and wither away in the sun, the rare Scottish sun that we get. But Queen's Park Skatepark also has a few other features which are not very good, but we'll take a look at them anyway. First of all, we've got this kicker ramp, which has got a little bit of run up, a little bit of flat ground, and a small quarter pipe to build speed up onto, although you're basically just spinning onto flat, rough ground. So I wouldn't be trying to throw any front flips or back flips on this, because you're likely to get cut and opened up pretty easily. But the skate park does have some other features. We've also got this amazing foreset with accompanying rail going down it, which is pretty much ankle height and steep, short and horrible. I'm pretty sure I would rather skate a street handrail, a 20 stair street handrail, than skate that. Doing anything on that is going to be horrible, and the chance to like miss your foot and just slap the ground, the really rough ground, really hard, is pretty high. So this is a hard pass from me. Attached on the other side of the same obstacle, you've got a jump box and you've got a spine ramp, but again, nowhere to get speed unless you want to run across the grass and the rough ground to get to it, and nowhere to go on the other side. There seems to be a lot of people building spine ramps and jump boxes without actually thinking about how any of the skaters, skateboarders, BMXers or scooter riders are gonna get over them. There is a tiny ramp there that you could use to get here, but it's definitely not gonna give you enough speed. There's a giant gravelly little alley, like gully, like, what would you call that? It's basically a moat for you to dig your wheels into, eat crap and just skid along the ground on your hands, which is fun. But there is one more set of features here. Last but not least, we've got two rails. One of them's an S rail and the one behind it is a kind of half hexagonal S rail, so not really an S. Yeah, a half hexagonal with like two straights at the end. Unfortunately, both of them are basically ankle height, and I don't know if you can see, but this ground looks very unforgiving. I've skated here before and it feels like you're rolling along on rough concrete cornflakes. You can just feel and hear the crunch, and it's not great at all. I was gonna say I could get some clips on the Vert ramp, but even if the Vert ramp was in pristine condition, I doubt I'd be able to get anything on it. And in the current state it's in, if you think I'm skating that, you're on drugs. But I'll try and get a couple of incredibly disappointing tricks here, and we'll see how that goes. I'm not entirely hopeful. So I thought I would give the Vert ramp a try, but the top deck sounds like the least secure thing in the world. And then when I was up here, I noticed this. The actual guard railing is hanging on by a thread, and if you fall against that, that's just coming clean out and you're going over the other side straight to flat. So this is a hard pass from me. I am not that stupid. As you can see, I gave the half pipe a really feeble effort. I did a sit drop and just rolled up and down to get a feel for it, but I could feel the panels moving underneath my feet, and when I was sitting at the top on the coping, I could see screws sticking out. So if you want to get splinters or screws sticking into your skin, be my guest. Me, not so much. Also, the fact that the decking on top is really unstable and the gate that's supposed to stop you falling off the back or the sides is not really firmly attached at all, does not fill me with confidence. I tried to skate the other ramps, but they've all got lips and the ground's really rough, so just rolling up them felt horrible and I didn't want to do anything on them. And I tried to skate the P-rails, but they're really low and sharp. They're like ankle height, and they've got glass at the landing. Even just doing basic tricks on it was an absolute struggle. I was either having to start late or finish early in order to just get along it, and it just wasn't fun at all. I would say this park is probably my least favourite out of the ones I've visited. All the other ones I was able to kind of come up with my own fun or session something that interested me. Here, there's just nothing that really appeals to me at all. To be honest, even if the Vert ramp was in perfect condition, I would never come here to touch it because I'm a wuss and giant ramps freak me out. But yeah, there's no ledges, no rail boxes, nothing to really pique my interest in terms of like street skating obstacles. So I would probably say Queen's Park is my least favourite out of the parks that I've visited today. Well, that's my tour of Glasgow's worst skate parks, done and dusted. I can't remember how many I got, 6 or 7, or tried to get 7, and I couldn't get one of them. Let me know which one you liked the best. Let me know which one you thought was the worst. And any other comments are greatly appreciated. If you liked the video, give it a like and a share. Speak to you guys soon.